This episode of the Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Samsung Smart TV. Coming up, Sacha Baron Cohen is back with one of his crazy characters. This time he's playing the Dictator.
So we just walked out of The Dictator, which is now in theaters.
Correct.
And it comes from the mind of Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen, and it's directed by Larry Charles. They collaborated in all their movies. Sacha Baron Cohen came on, broke out, I think 10 years ago. Speak Up Now, really? Forever Hold Your Peace. With the Ali G Show.
Ah, right. Yeah.
And the Ali G Show featured Sacha Baron Cohen as 3 characters, Ali G, Borat, and Bruno. Mm-hmm. And it was reality-based, as he would impersonate this character
in the
real world, in sight gags and interviewing real people, whatever. The first movie that he did was based on the Ali G, and it was, unlike the show, it was a traditional narrative movie and didn't do so well. Then he made movies based off of Borat and Bruno, as you know, major successes. At least Borat was. I don't remember if Bruno was as big a success.
It did okay. I don't think it was as big, but it didn't. Yeah. It wasn't the Ali G movie.
Right. So now he's returning to what he did with Ali G, but with a brand new character. This is his first new character. This is not based on any of the characters he'd previously done on the show. In The Dictator, where he plays General Admiral Aladdin, whatever.
Aladdin, motherfucker!
A dictator of the country Wadiya, who...
The fictional North African country, Wadiya.
It's very much coming to America. It's evil coming to America, where the dictator comes to America and...
Evil.
Through a set of circumstances, loses his power and has to get it back. It's fish out of water, whatever.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, what did you think of The Dictator?
Well, you know, it's interesting.
How does it stack up against previous?
It's interesting because in my adult life, there has been those touchstone comedies. You know, I remember the first time I saw Ace Ventura and that sort of breakout of Jim Carrey. Like, I have never seen anybody do this. It felt so fresh. Everybody was quoting it. It took over my comedic imagination. The same thing happened when I first saw Wayne's World. You know, that sort of Mike Myers aesthetic, comedic aesthetic that it just kind of took. Everybody was quoting it, and that was the voice of comedy at the time. And the same thing also happened with Borat. Everybody was saying my life. Yeah, right. It was of the moment. You know, Bruno not so much, but I really enjoyed Bruno too.
Yeah.
And Borat was much like when I saw Ace Ventura and Wayne's World, although Wayne's World I was familiar with from Saturday Night Live. But much like those experiences, it took me completely by surprise. I had no idea what I was in for, and when it would go over the top, it was like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. This is so funny. I'm hurting myself.
But not the Ali G movie?
But I hadn't seen the Ali G. I hadn't seen the Ali G movie until well after I saw the series, which was well after it aired.
Right.
And it was underwhelming. Wasn't exciting.
Right.
This movie, the reason I made that very labored analogy is I feel like this movie feels like the later Mike Myers movies. It feels like The Guru. It feels like, okay, here's a guy who...
Mariska Hargitay?
Mariska Hargitay. He's trying to go to the well again, and it just isn't firing on the same cylinders. It is not a good movie, and it is almost devoid of humor for me. Yes, there are some moments where it goes so far over the top and so gross out, and it goes places that no movie has ever gone, nor should they.
Physically.
I believe
Cameras
so.
in places they shouldn't
never
be.
been put.
Some doctors' offices have gotten that far.
There's a humor to that just because it's like, wow. And really, you know, one of the things I said when I walked out of this movie was, you know, I can't believe it's been only, what, 10, 11 years since 9/11, and we're able to make the butt of the jokes so close to home about terrorism, to be quite honest. But it's really not funny. I think the best part of the movie actually is the music, because they do a lot of really funny things, taking well-known pop songs and doing them in Arabic, I assume.
Right.
I assume it's Arabic.
Or fake gibberish.
Maybe, I have no idea. But it's funny.
Wadiyan.
Here's something familiar like working 9 to 5, but done, you know, not in English. And that's kind of funny. And there's a speech at the end that he makes that really skewers. It's on the nose. It's like skewers American culture and sort of political life. That I thought was like, oh, the whole movie was to get to this moment. Unfortunately, it wasn't really a very fun ride. It is very plotty, and comparing it to those Mike Myers movies where it's like, it's a paint by numbers. You feel the act turns. You feel like we met the love interest he's gonna fuck it up with her, and he's gonna get her. It's like, it's so paint by numbers that it felt very labored to me. Yeah. And no pun intended about the funny moment. And it's disappointing because I'm such a fan of him. I think he's a comedic genius in a lot of ways, but this really is not evidence of that at all.
If you go see the movie, stay for the credits. That's all I'm gonna say. I think I had more fun than you did watching it. I also feel the same. When it comes to the sort of like realism, being able to keep your shit together, get funny moments out of real situations, Sacha Baron Cohen is tops on that list. This movie isn't that at all. This movie is a scripted comedy about a character. So I had a lot of the same problems that, I think most of us had. But that said, it was fun enough. And the laughs that I had it was one of those things where, there was a fairly sort of consistent, like, LPM.
Really?
It was low. It was low LPM or JPM, but it was consistent.
Yeah.
But I never got any of those really big spikes like you get in most of his movies, where you just see something that you literally are laughing, like can't move your face laughing, and then you get back to just that consistent good comedy. I feel like it had the consistent comedy, no real big spikes up. The majority of the best things about this movie are in the trailer anyway. You can kind of watch the trailer and see the movie with it. But I like the sort of way that they skewered this sort of dictator of this sort of guy who like doesn't understand why anything that a dictator does that's bad is bad. It's just that's what he does. That's what they do. Like, that's life. I mean, he became a dictator at 6. So of course he's gonna enjoy it. So I like that kind of like watching a guy who doesn't know what's wrong. I mean, you just take it's almost like watching an old person where you're like, oh, don't say that. That's not something you're supposed to say.
Don't you know what I mean? Some of the jokes, it felt like the jokes were the most obvious joke to make. Like, okay, the waterboarding joke, it's almost as if you said, hey, Jeff, write up a list of jokes about a terrorist or a dictator.
Right. Yeah.
It checks all the boxes of the most obvious things that come right to the top of your head.
Sure, but there were some that I was like, I didn't really think about that way, but...
Do you guys think that, it sounds like felt a little lackluster to you.
Well, compared to something like Borat and Bruno,
that's what I was gonna say.
You just see it and you go, well, it's not a knockout of the park. It's a great, I mean, you could watch it on a Saturday and have a great little Saturday and laugh a little bit, and then you see the credit scene where the guy wipes his butt and you shit your pants.
Do you think?
Well, that was a real moment.
I know, that's why it was so great.
Well, and that brings me to this point, which is, do you think that it could have worked better for you if it was, putting aside if he was even capable of making a movie that way anymore, but if this was done in the style of Borat and Bruno?
But that's the thing, like, Bruno to a less extent, but it is, those characters, while broad, are believable to it. There's no one that would look at the dictator and ever be fooled.
Right. Yeah.
It is like the Guru. It is like, it is such a huge movie.
Yeah, but it's a caricature. It's a caricature, not a funny character.
Philosophically though, putting that aside, like I said, like you couldn't really do that.
I don't think it works.
Do you think any of the reasons why you felt less, this was less funny, was because
you knew it wasn't real?
No, because does his character work as well in a
Borat type movie?
I don't have an
think
answer
so.
to that. I'm just asking if you think that
No,
the
I just
fact
think
that
it was
it was very traditional.
I just don't think I don't think the jokes are particularly funny, and it was very paint by numbers. I mean, Borat is paint by numbers in a certain extent too, but it's fun along the way, and I just didn't have very much fun along the way.
Yeah, I had more fun. That said, it wasn't like going to see The Hangover for the first time or going to see Borat for the first time.
Right.
It was like going to see a comedy that was good, you know. And I had enough laughs that I would go, it's worth seeing, you know what I mean? It's worth seeing, but I wouldn't. It's not like one of those movies like Borat was, where I was like, if you have not yet seen Borat, go and see Borat.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just that it was scripted and maybe, you know, that's not where he lives, you know, and shines with comedy. You know, they showed some of the outtakes from some of the improv stuff that he did. The other thing is, I felt like he was kind of going in and out of character. Like the character didn't have a very specific voice, whereas something like Borat, you think he's Borat. You know what I mean? There's something about the voice of the dictator where like he'd pronunciate words correctly once and then incorrectly another time and then correctly again and then incorrect. Maybe that was just part of the character, but that took me out of it a little bit. But the improv stuff is really, I mean, it's great. I mean, it's worth it.
I can't recommend this to anybody.
His sidekick guy was hysterical.
Oh, he was good.
Hysterical. So I mean, it was definitely, I'd say, if you're interested in that stuff, yeah, go check it out. But
all right, there you go. The Dictator.
It's a little lackluster review. I mean, not review, but our opinion. All right, everybody, be sure to stick around. We're going to be answering one of your Twitter questions right after this, but first we want to thank our sponsor.
New sponsor!
Samsung.
Yes.
I actually have the brand new 2012 model Samsung Plasma TV, and it is the most stunning TV I have ever seen, and I am thrilled that I have it in my home.
You did like tons of research.
I did
bought
a lot
the
of
best
research.
TV.
This is the highest rated television set, and having gone through last year's and now this year's even better. So Samsung is introducing the all-new Smart TV with smart interaction technology plus innovative ways to explore and locate smart content. So they have the built-in microphone and the smart touch remote control that's gesture and voice controlled. It has face recognition.
For real?
And the Smart View mobile app all provide unique ways to interact with your TV.
Wait, you have a mobile app to connect to your TV?
Wait, it recognizes your face and your voice?
It's like a connecty thing inside your television set.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's cool.
So cutting-edge TV apps and new signature services plus web browsing enhance the TV experience. And right now you can experience advanced overall performance from improved motion clarity to faster web access. In the future, you can upgrade your TV performance and functionality with the Smart Evolution Kit.
That's cool.
And you can learn more all about these features at the Samsung Smart TV Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Samsung TV USA.
Oh, May's great. All right, people, enjoy your rest of your day. Is it Rises or Rise?
Rises.
Rise It. Fuck, that's not a great title.
It isn't.
No.
It isn't.
It's not, because it don't... The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. Bam. I got it.
Batman
it's a great
Begins?
title.
Not
Batman
a great
Begins.
title, but not bad.
I'm never going to say it wrong.
Right.
Batman Begins.
Well, Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah, because it's like every time I see it, I'm like, this is Dark Knight Rise, and then they say Rise, and it's like, I don't know.
I don't think it's good just because A, it sounds like he's getting a hard on, and B, I like that if it's a trilogy, if it's a trilogy, the first one's Batman Begins, so you're calling him Batman, then you're calling him the Dark Knight. Third one, you should be calling him, because there's like a million.
Mr. Comebackies.
Well, no, but he was Batman, then he became the Dark Knight, and now he's rising to the end of the Dark Knight.
The end of the Dark Knight.
At the end of the Dark Knight, he was
Dark Knight.
He
lowering.
fell.
Dark Knight should be called Dark Knight Lowers.
Yeah. Then Dark Knight Rises makes sense.
At the end of Dark Knight, a hero had fallen, and
Right.
in the third one, he's
A
going
Hero
to rise.
Rises? That would have been a cool title.
Yeah, or the Dark Knight.
No,
He's
but
the Dark
it's
Knight,
already
and
the
he's
Dark
rising.
Knight. It's already the
Just
Dark Knight.
doesn't-
It is. It's
What
not
do you
great.
mean?
It's not great. It's not great. Here we go.
Oh, don't get it.
Hero Rises. I like that one.
Camera Rises. Here we go. All right, are we ready?
Yes.
Are we ready? Here we go.
That way.
Everybody that way.
Done. Back.
Done bop.
Dun back.
Back.
Bing bong.
Oh, Mike, can you?
All right, everybody. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. Ready? That was a little joke. That was good. I liked it.
Pretty funny.
Thank you. Here we go. So stupid. All right, here we go.
What way garden a theod kuningas?
Riding around on lions. White there. Oh,